Have you ever spent hours walking around your room with music blasting, fully imagining fake scenarios in your head? Yeah, that's not healthy and it can completely ruin your life. This, my dear friends, is called maladaptive daydreaming. And it's basically when your brain decides that reality is too boring or painful, so it creates a better one and you just live there instead.
And I just wanted to point out the comment section that says maladaptive daydreaming has generally become part of my life, while the other is saying literally I can't go a day without my adaptive daydreaming. It's so therapeutic. If I go a day without it, I feel so off and get so moody. Now look at the amount of likes these comments are getting. Everyone's feeling this way apparently, let alone how many likes the video itself got. 1.6 million views. I just wanted to point that out. Now let's get back to the video.
So let's stop talking about the problem and let's be more productive and talk about how to actually solve maladaptive daydreaming. As you can see by this wonderful tree, there are 3 aspects to solving an actual problem. There is the problem itself, there is the cause, and then there's the root cause, which literally affects everything. If you cut off a problem by its trunk, as you can see here, the tree is going to grow the exact same way. You're only cutting off what you can actually see and not what's actually causing the issue. So we're going to understand what the root causes of maladaptive daydreaming is. A study by Harvard Health lists a couple of attributes of daydreaming causes. Some are associated with anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD, or dissociative disorders. Now, I'm not saying that if you maladaptive daydream that you have these, but as you can see, they explicitly point out that maladaptive daydreaming is not a mental illness. So that's definitely not what I want you to understand from this. What's interesting is that experts don't specifically know why maladaptive daydreaming happens, but most suspect that it's a coping mechanism for problems like anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions. In other words, it's like an escape from the currently reality, from a painful reality, like I've mentioned before. And no, it's not contagious. Now, according to an article called Discussing Psychology, they gave out really good advice on how to actually stop. They mentioned that with most addictions, there's a trigger, a situation, a thought or a feeling that makes you want to engage in your habit. So think of something that makes you want to daydream. For me, for example, it was watching people on social media live a life that I wasn't living. So for me, the trigger was being on my phone consistently and comparing myself. Now for others, it can be daily stress like work, school, anything really, financial problems, having a crush, an unrequited love, things like that. And so even with that, there are some things that you can do to stop it if it is really becoming a menace to your life. Here's what you can do. Number 1 is cut out your music and headphone use. So if you remove a trigger, though, you reduce the likelihood of slipping up, right? And for a lot of people, music unlocks the door to their fantasy lives. And without certain songs or sounds to engage their imagination, it's a lot harder to get into the zone and stay there for long periods. Now, this might not be the case for everyone, but I know that most people daydream with their headphones in, so don't lie. What would that look like for you on a practical level? Well, you don't need to throw out your headphones, but if it's that bad, then, I don't know, give it to someone else. You can possibly lock it in a drawer. You could cancel a subscription to whatever music streaming service you use. If there are certain kinds of music that facilitate your daydreams, you can start deliberately listening to other kinds of music, etc. Now, there are so many pieces of advice that can get you to stop maladaptive daydreaming. And if I go through the long list, it'll be an extensive video. So let me know in the comments if you guys want another video.
And we're back again. We're back to recording. I wasn't gonna record again. I had to take a little break, but we're back. Now let's get straight to the point. There's nothing wrong with visualizing success, but maladaptive daydreaming is different because it traps you in a cycle where your brain rewards you for imagining progress. So you feel accomplished without actually doing anything. Instead of actually building skills, applying for better jobs, or starting that side hustle, you're mentally rehearsing a fantasy life that never leaves your head. And here's the dangerous part. Every hour lost in your daydreams is an hour stolen from your future. While you're picturing success, someone else is out there creating it. Over time, that habit keeps you stuck in the same paycheck to paycheck routine, wondering why nothing changes, while deep down, you know the answer. You're living more in your mind than in the real world. If you want wealth, stop letting your daydreams trick you into thinking that you're moving forward, because you're not. Use that imagination instead as fuel to take actual real-life action in the world. Because success doesn't happen in your head, it happens with your habits. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. We're in this together. Introduce myself, but I'm Isabella if you're new here to the channel, and I hope that you like this type of content and subscribe. I'm here to talk about finance, business, and about God, and mixing them all together. So I really hope that my type of content helps you. If you have any questions, leave it down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!